Welcome to Whistle Stop Tours. My name is Taylor Shabu, and today I'd like to invite you all on a journey. I invite you to immerse yourself in the history, in the culture, in the knowledge, and the stories. So we at Whistle Stop Tours, we work together with historians and community activists. We ourselves are not necessarily historians. We work closely with historians. Our job as the conductors is to bring you into the story. So, just a little bit about the tour itself. We are going to cover 3 sites, and we're going to talk about strategies of emancipation. That's kind of the theme. Strategies of emancipation. So, this neighborhood is called Hayti. This center is called
I will walk on y'all. Hurrah!
How about Shimmy on the shot, rock a thumb? You holler from out, talk about Shimmy on the shot.
I want to speak about a few things in this building. This building currently is home to a lot of community and cultural activities. We have cultural dance classes that happen, classes for the youth, drumming classes as well. Also, it's a place where if you don't have enough money, you can rent a space here to have a baby shower, or a birthday party, or a rehearsal, or a meeting, or many different types of events. This stage right here was the original chapel, original stage of the chapel. Some of the things have been renovated a little bit, but the ceilings are the same, chandeliers are the same, and this stage, the acoustics are so nice here that it's often used by bands to record their albums. Even a band from Marcellus, who is in Durham, records here.
This large street here is called Fayetteville Street, and this is not the original Fayetteville Street. Where we're getting ready to go is the actual original Fayetteville Street, which is behind the Hayti building, and we'll talk about what was there at one point. Now it's just a small housing community, just a small neighborhood of houses, but at the time, what you would see here was houses. There was no street here. All of this was houses. So imagine all the folks that were living here. All the folks that were living here. And then that street back there was the actual business district. So over 18 businesses were back there, just on that one street. All black owned. Barbershops, beauty parlors, there were grocery stores, gas stations, mechanic shops. So there were lots and lots of businesses. So basically, anything you needed, just like W.E.B. Du Bois said, you could get right there from Hayti. And then it was a quick walk to downtown, which we're going to see a little bit later.
Hey, brothers and sisters, real quick. The newspaper is calling us a hate group. But I don't see nobody else bringing black people and Latino people to see their history, man. To see what these people did to us. The brother said when he was bringing out the speech inside the church that it was safer for women to go out into the tobacco fields rather than work in domestic housing. That's how violent these people was to our people. You understand? We are the ones bringing our people to see their true history, man. And it's a beautiful thing.
All right, so this structure that we passed right behind us, if you look behind you, is known as Tent City. And Tent City happened around redevelopment. So at one point, FDR, the president at the time, he decided he wanted to build highway systems through every part of the country. Now, these highway systems, he said, were to allow for, in case of emergency, people to exit cities and National Guard to enter cities faster, blah, blah, blah. There were grants given to cities to build new highways in blighted neighborhoods. So they looked at our neighborhoods and they decided, okay, this is a blighted area. We're gonna tear down these houses. And so over 18 businesses were demolished. Now, you might ask, why did this happen? Why did the people not fight? The people voted for it. In Durham, we have a committee called the Committee on the Affairs of Black People. And at the time, they were called the Committee on the Affairs of Negro People. The community leaders agreed with it, and they voted for it. The entire community, the majority of the community voted as a voting bloc for this to happen. And why? They were promised new homes. They were promised new buildings for their businesses. So this was a temporary, there were 3 structures like this, and they call it Tin City because it had zinc roofs on the top, like metal roofing. And this was a temporary place for the businesses until all of this construction was done with the highway. The highway demolished something like 3,000 homes. Well, this neighborhood was much larger. Like I said, this was not a street before. This was a neighborhood. This was homes. And the Hayti neighborhood extends down that way behind us about another half a mile at least.
Did they receive those new homes and businesses that they were promised?
Oh, no.
Of course.
What happened, they were moved into the PJs. So imagine folks who had a large amount of home ownership. They moved into a situation where, generationally now, their descendants don't know anything about home ownership. They don't know about black grocery stores. Okay, Tin City was home to 18 businesses. About 3 of them survived by moving out of Tin City on their own. But because the streets were always torn up, there was no way for for customers to get to those businesses, and those businesses mostly died right there in Tin City. A couple of the businesses that were left was Scarborough and Hargett Mortuary. They were the first black mortuary in Durham. They were the 3rd black mortuary in North Carolina, I believe. And the brothers came from Kinston, North Carolina, and they were recruited by the leadership in Durham to come here and start a business here. Now, the elder, his name was Skippy Scarborough. He used to come out on the tours. He passed away in 2021. But he used to come out and greet the people and talk about the history. Every time you saw him, he was dressed to the nines, even spats on the shoes and everything. He was emblematic of that era when your physical appearance, your outward appearance was reflective of the race. So the other business that died here recently is the Carolina Times. It was a black-owned newspaper. So at the time, there was a large business, North Carolina Mutual, and then there was the newspaper, which helped the black community control our own narrative. You have to own a publication like that. Yeah. And so the Carolina Times printed the truth because they owned it. Now, the descendant of the man who owned the newspaper passed away in 2021 as well. Around 1979, there was a fire that destroyed about 30 years worth of back publications of the newspaper are stored. Another attempt to erase history. Okay, so black journalists all over Durham fought to try and keep this place alive, but as of now, it's not functioning. So as I was saying, his brother was one of the CEOs of North Carolina Mutual. North Carolina Mutual helped support the community by doing things like buying up failing black businesses. They didn't want the community to see a black business failing, so they would buy it up. They also would give out loans to the community. So in that way, they were, the execs did a lot. In fact, the women of the North Carolina Mutual did a lot as well, even though they were way less paid, but way more educated. So we'll actually pass by Black Wall Street shortly, and you'll get to see the actual street that was Black Wall Street. Getting back to Pauli Murray, part of her writing was sort of was used as the basis for Brown versus Board of Education. So her work was very instrumental in the start of the civil rights movement. Pioneer, sure. So we can go here.
Yeah, that's what I understand. We're moving on now towards we're not right. We ain't going directly there. We're gonna make it right. We're gonna make it right. That's not what we're doing right now. We're going to Black Wall Street. So we're heading there. Where we heading? We're gonna pass Black Wall Street. Okay. They're gonna pass Black Wall Street. Do they need to? Do they want to go back to Hayti? At the end, or because we were planning to let folks off at the end at a mural, but we can actually just drive past the mural and go back to Hayti if we want. We're gonna have to go back to Hayti.
Okay. I know some folks still have their vehicles there and stuff like that.
And then from here we're going to Sagamore.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So this to your right is to your right, that is this is Mapleview Cemetery. Mapleview Cemetery. And I'm gonna explain. We're gonna make a right turn right here.
You said you want to explain the significance of this?
Yes.
Okay.
So as we come up here on this side of Mapleview, I want you to look at the lower lying land and the stones that are there. That is on the left, to the left right here. And we can slow down just a little bit. Just past these trees, where that lawnmower is moving, is the Fitzgerald Cemetery. So the Fitzgerald family is Pauli Murray's family. They bought this land so they could establish a black cemetery. But as you see, it was vandalized. There are over 200 other people buried there, and their stones are missing. Wow. Can't locate who the people. We have the list of names, but we don't know where their markers are. Pauli Murray fought for decades to have that land annexed by the city so they could take care of it and it wouldn't be vandalized. It happened after her death.
So was she able to get it annexed?
Finally. It happened
after she passed away, it got done.
Some of these houses, her uncle, Richard Fitzgerald, built. So some of these old brick houses are Fitzgerald bricks. To your left, where you see the land sloping down, those were original quarries where they dug the clay to make the bricks. Those were their brick yards. This stucco building to your left is Emmanuel AME. This is where Pauli's auntie was married. And this other stucco building that we're approaching to your left was the Fitzgerald's bricks office. This was their office building. Yep. We're going to go to it right now. This was their office. 1 million bricks on hand.
That was the name or the logo or the slogan for the company?
Yeah.
1 million bricks on hand.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. You think you use the mic for the people in the back?
Of course.
1 million bricks on hand.
So,
1 million bricks on hand.
So they had their troubles at first, but their slogan did become 1 million bricks on hand. This building here is the Fitzgerald Bricks original office. And as I said, he was the first black millionaire in Durham. So John Merrick, who was the creator of North Carolina Mutual, he started it with a physician, Durham's first African-American physician, Dr. Aaron Moore. The two of them partnered together and started North Carolina Mutual. And John Merrick was also a barber. He owned 6 barbershops. He owned barbershops for colored and barbershops for whites. He was Washington Duke's personal barber. And some of the stories say that Washington Duke gave John Merrick the idea to start North Carolina Mutual. But we know now that the history goes way back because he was a Mason. He was a part of the Masonic order, and they had their mutual aid societies. So they were already doing this. We're going to pass North Carolina Mutual's. This was their last building to our right. They just started their dissolution in last year. So they lasted all the way until last year. So as we go up towards the light, you're going to be able to see North Carolina Mutual on your right.
Going straight?
Going straight. We're going to cross Buchanan.
So if I could, you said when they was coming together, not a term you use, as far as they put together for everybody passing, was part of the beginning for North Carolina Mutual, right?
Yes, yes. The mutual aid societies is what they call it.
Yeah.
This is my old neighborhood, y'all. I used to live right down the street.
Okay.
So yeah, just ahead of us and to the right, you can see NC Mutual Life. Today, the building is home to artist grant spaces, other black businesses. North Carolina Mutual, up until last year, had their offices still in the building. But like I said, they are closing as of last year. The building itself, when it was built, was lauded as a modern architectural marvel. And all the corners of the building were cantilevered. So the structures that you see in the corners didn't exist before. They were cantilevered. And but after a while, it turned out that design was structural.